Finding remote work is a little bit easier when you know where you can actually find these remote jobs, and that is why in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you websites or job boards that you can start looking at when you're looking for remote work, in a chance to help you figure out how you can best find your next remote role. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Gloria, and let's get to it. So first things first, we're gonna start with freelancers. And if you're a freelancer, honestly finding the best remote work job boards is kind of hard, so I'm gonna give you three that I've personally used and I've helped others use and learned rules. So the first site that goes for freelancers is Upwork. Now, if you've never seen how Upwork looks, this is how it actually looks. You definitely have to sign up. You honestly have to make sure you have reached 100% of your profile completion, and then when you're looking for remote roles, you really have to apply to them. Honestly, that's the best platform you can get started with, because most of the things when it comes to money, contracts, and getting paid are already set up for you, so you don't really have to work around that, or you don't have to really stress around that. The second website I have for freelancers is People Per Hour. Now, People Per Hour is a website that a lot of us might not have used or have used, but essentially, this particular platform allows you to work anywhere as a freelancer. You can be able to land any type of role. You just need to know how to apply, how to send a proposal, as well as how to appeal to the kind of work that you actually want to do. Now, when it comes to People Per Hour, it's not as structured as Upwork. However, you can be able to find as many jobs as you think you can be able to do. But honestly, you need to be really keen when it comes to how you're sending your proposal, because this platform, essentially, they do a lot of screening and you'd want to be shortlisted by the people who are actually looking for freelancers. And then that platform I have for you guys, I know a lot of you are gonna look at me with some sneery eyes, but you need to get started looking into Facebook groups as a freelancer, because a lot of us who do not actually know how to write pitches, or maybe you're more experienced and you're looking for one-on-one kind of gigs, you will find them on Google, on Facebook groups. If you're not on Facebook, if you think Facebook is for old people, I really want to challenge you to rethink that, because honestly, if you join the right groups, you can be able to find the right jobs, because they always post jobs. Now, a few pointers when you're looking for a job using Facebook groups is, number one, if they have not enlisted what the role is, that is a scam. Do not apply for that job. The second thing you might want to check is if they are telling you to pay them a certain amount of money so that they can give you a job. That is also a scam. Most of the time when people are looking to get hired on Facebook groups, they usually enlist everything about that particular job, and you can be able to know what is expected of you, what are the responsibilities, and then they also, most of the time, they don't share the compensation, but if you get into their DMs, they will be able to disclose to you what the compensation is. Now, if you're looking for a full-time job, you need to ensure that the remote sites that you're using are actually offering the full-time jobs that you're looking for. And the first platform I'm actually talking about is Hiring Cafe. Now, Hiring Cafe, I've mentioned it before when I was talking about how to find remote jobs. If you haven't watched that video yet, I'm going to include it up here so that you can go and check it out. But in that video, I talked about Hiring Cafe, because this is one of the best platforms to find a remote role, especially if you're from Africa or you're from the East Africa and Middle East region, so that you can be able to work remotely. Now, Hiring Cafe, I love this platform because they honestly update the jobs at 3 working days. They always update for new jobs that are being sought out for people to work in them, so you can try your luck in those particular areas. I would advise you ensure that you have your LinkedIn optimized, you have your resume optimized, as well as having a good portfolio and a cover letter to go with it, because these particular jobs, they usually go through a rigorous screening process, and you'd want to be shortlisted for those particular roles. The second website that I think you really need to pay attention to is We Work Remotely. And yes, as the name suggests, We Work Remotely is a remote fast hiring company. Now, they usually list out a lot of roles, and honestly, if you're in any space, whether you're in tech, whether in social media, marketing, sales, legal, health, whichever industry you're in, you can be able to find your role on We Work Remotely, but you have to be willing and ready to work remote fast. Now, the jobs that they usually enlist here are usually full-time and part-time roles. They don't usually enlist independent contracts or temporary contracts, so you need to find another site if that's your direction when it comes to looking for jobs. But We Work Remotely is a really great site. Now, a word of advice of the people who are applying for a role: ensure when you're applying for a role, you check out what location restrictions they have, because if you're applying for a job, it has to be either worldwide or in the region that you're currently located in. And then the third space I would talk about is Remotive. Now, Remotive, honestly, what they usually do, and one of the reasons why I really appreciate Remotive, is that they usually collect as many remote jobs that are currently in any other remote space job board, and they enlist them in their platform. So whichever tool you're using to apply for jobs, maybe if you don't find a job that has been listed on the platform that you're thinking about, you can most certainly find it on Remotive. Now, for Remotive, you don't necessarily have to have an account for it. You don't have to create a new account for it, but you can be able to find the jobs that you're looking for, because they usually collectively accumulate the remote jobs that have been listed, and then they put them on their platform. So it will redirect you to the best place or the best job application board for that particular role if you click the link. And that is why Remotive is another great solution if you're looking for full-time or part-time roles in the remote space. If you're a virtual assistant or an executive assistant, these 3 remote job sites are gonna really help you. Now, the first remote site is magic.com. Yes, you heard me right. Magic.com. Now, this platform is where you can actually find any virtual assistant role, especially if you're a beginner or if you're someone who has not been deep in the industry yet. You can be able to find as many virtual assistant roles as possible, and they have a different process as compared to other remote job sites. So what usually happens is you are going to create an account with them, and then you will have to upload your credentials so that they match you with the right company that requires your skill set. And a lot of virtual assistant job roles or job boards usually do that. So you really have to ensure that you've collected your credentials, you have everything in order, you have your certifications ready, and you have your LinkedIn optimized, because yes, they do take attention or take note of your LinkedIn account. And if you haven't optimize your LinkedIn account, I already did a video that walks you through how to optimize your LinkedIn account. I'm going to include it here again for you guys to go and check it out so that you can optimize your LinkedIn account. Then the second website I have for you guys is Persona, because Persona has been in existence for a while, and a lot of virtual assistants may not know that this platform actually has executive assistants, beginner virtual assistants, as well as virtual assistants who have been in the game for a long while. Now, the best thing about Persona is that they actually categorize you in terms of the departments that are usually there in business. So whether you're in administrative virtual assisting, whether you're in law virtual assisting, health virtual assisting, executive assisting in tech, or whichever industry you're in, whether it's fintech or finance or accounting, whatever it is, you will be matched by what you actually qualify for. And this platform allows you to actually upload your resume and all your credentials, so it makes it really, really easy for them to do the matching when it comes to you finding a job that actually works for you. And then the other platform that is unpopular with virtual assistants is LinkedIn. Guys, if you're not paying attention to your LinkedIn account, I don't know how many times I can sing this song, but if you're a virtual assistant and you're looking for jobs, then you might want to try LinkedIn. And I'm going to give you 3 reasons why I think you should. Now, one thing that I keep on singing to everyone who listens to any of my LinkedIn content is that LinkedIn is where decision makers hang out. Decision makers to mean people in the executive areas in the business, CEOs, CFOs, CTOs, the C-suite leaders, people who are in the board of directors. They hang out on LinkedIn, and once they're thinking about hiring, they usually go to LinkedIn first. So what you want to do is to leverage LinkedIn, position yourself as the person who has their solutions, And I'm assuming that you already know the kind of people you want to work for as a virtual assistant. And then ensure you are always appearing on their feed. That means you have to start thinking about content creation on LinkedIn. You have to think about connecting with these people. You have to think about pitching. And let me tell you, this is a guarantee. When you actually start pitching yourself to the people who are these key decision makers in businesses through LinkedIn, you are going to find a job that actually pays you a lot of money. But you have to be strategic, and if you need more tips on that, feel free to let me know in the comment section, and I am going to do that video for you. Now, I'm hoping that you guys found this video to be particularly helpful. If you did, make sure to give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Also, if you feel like there's something I haven't covered in this particular video that you'd want me to cover, feel free to let me know in the comment section. But up to that point, thank you so much for watching this video until the end. If you feel like sticking around, I did do a video talking about how to design a portfolio, which I'm going to include right here, and I'm going to see you guys in that particular video.